All right, so I want to give you guys a quick tour of Tinkercad. I know a lot of you know how to use it already, but I'm going to show you some functions that you may not know about, and so let's get started. So if you have never made a design before, you will do Create Design. It will open a new screen. If you have made a design before and you want to edit it, you're going to click on Tinker This, and that will open up the screen for you. Okay, I wanted to show you just a basic tour of what's going on here. So the first thing, usually it's going to give your, or always it will give your file a name that's kind of a silly name. And I want you to change that right away so you don't forget. I would name it what it is with your name included in the title. So this is my test, or probably I should call this my tour, Mrs. Beach. So I named it what it is and Mrs. Beach, and then I just click anywhere and it saves the name. All right, so that's one thing that I would do first before I do anything else. Another thing, just real quick to tell you, is that Tinkercad is automatically set up to do millimeters for measurements. Okay, millimeters are something that we all need to learn and get used to using. But if you decided you wanted to change your space, down here it says Edit Grid, and you click on that. Okay, like I said, it's automatically set to millimeters. You can change it to inches, and then you can also build things in here for Minecraft, so that's why it says bricks here. Also on the edit grid is the size for the print area. Okay, so you can see here it's got a list of some different kinds of printers that you can choose from. I have all the dimensions for our printers written down. So if you want to find out what the width and length is for the print bed that we have on our different printers, just ask me and I'll tell you, and then you can change this so you can make sure that you're not making something that's too big to print on our printers. So you change what you're going to do. You're going to do the update grid then. All right, so let's go up here and let's start talking about how to use the mouse. I keep telling you guys that it's so much easier if you have a mouse. So I'm going to show you a few things to do with the mouse. So first of all, this item right here, this is called the View Cube. If you click on it, you can move your work plane however you want to move it. The other way you can do that if you have a mouse is if you hold down the right button and move it around, it does the same thing, moves the work plane. So you can have easy control of what you're looking at. Okay, if I wanted to return this now back to how it was when I started, then I click on the little house and that returns it right back to how we began. Okay, if you left button on the mouse, it's going to move items around. So if we put a box on here, cube on here, I can move that cube where I want it to go using the left button on my mouse. And you can see it tells me how far I moved it. So if I needed to be very precise about moving something, I could click in these numbers and I could type how far I wanted it to move. Okay, so that's the left button. The next thing, the wheel on your mouse. So if you scroll your wheel, it zooms in and out. Okay, same thing with these two little buttons over here on the left, it will scroll in and out. If you push down on the wheel on the mouse and move it, then it's going to move your work plane. So if you get zoomed in, let's say I get zoomed in, but I need to be able to see a part of the work plane that I can't see, I would use that wheel, push it down, and I would move my work plane where I wanted it to go. All right, so we're going to go back here and home our work plane. We're going to move this guy kind of in the center. And then we're going to talk about up here at the top, these things. So when I click on it, the shape, it's going to put these little squares on. That means it's highlighted, right? The white squares are your dimensioning squares. So when you click on those, that tells you how wide your item is from side to side and how deep it is from front to back. Okay, just like I showed you a second ago, you can change the numbers, the dimensions, by typing in a number. So my cube now, it's 25 millimeters wide and 25 millimeters deep. If I want to make it height different or check the height measurement, I click on this white square here in the middle. And again, I can change that dimension by typing in a number. Okay, let's say that I want to make more of these cubes that are the same size. If I go up here, this thing that looks like two sheets of paper, that's the copy. You can use copy, use that, or you can use the command Control C. So I'm going to use Control C, and then You can either use the clipboard to paste. So you see I clicked on the clipboard and it put another cube right there. I can also do Control V and it will do the same thing. All right. So that's copy and paste. It takes your shape, whatever it is, and it makes it exactly the same. Okay, there's also this function that's called duplicate and repeat. So if I were to do duplicate, and you can see it's Control D. So I'm going to duplicate this square. It took this cube and it made another cube in exactly the same place. Okay, now if I take this cube and I can rotate the cube if I can get it to show up like I want it to. Where's it going? Oh, come on. We're going to redo that one because I messed that one up. So let's see here. So I'm going to duplicate. I'm going to move this guy over. And then I'm going to rotate it if it will work for me. Oh, here we go. So if I click on the little arrows, I can rotate this. So let's say I want it to rotate, 15 degrees. 14 degrees. We'll go with 14 degrees. Okay, now if I push duplicate again, it's going to give me the next cube already rotated 14 degrees. And it'll just keep doing that as many times. So like if you wanted to make something for whatever reason that has, things evenly spaced and all rotated the same way, then you could use duplicate. All right, the trash can is just what you probably think it is. It's delete. Okay, you can also highlight and delete. Okay. The other thing up there at the top is we have an undo and we have a redo. So you can use those, or you can just, do Control Z. Will work as well. Okay, so let's get rid of some of these cubes. So I'm going to highlight them and I'm going to delete them, and we're going to get rid of this guy. All right, and then I'm going to home there we go. All right, so next, so I have my square and I've made it, it's 25 by 25 by 25. It's not a square, obviously, guys. This is a cube, right? When I add a shape, this little menu shows up, right? Solid means that when it prints, it's going to print as a solid. So it'll be whatever color filament you put in, but it will be a solid shape. Whole means that it will leave an opening in the space where that shape would be. All right, so if I wanted to, people have asked me about making a cylinder before that has an opening in the middle. Let's say if I wanted to do that with a square. So I've got my cube here, right? To make a cylinder, what I would do, or to make a opening in the middle, I want to put another square, another cube on top of this one, right? You can drag it and drop it on here and move it around, and that's kind of a pain. But if you use this function that's called the work plane, and you click on top of this cube, it will let you set another shape right there on the top of the cube, or whatever shape it is that you've already got on your screen. Okay, so I'm going to make this cube a little smaller. So this cube is going to be a hole in the first cube. And then I usually will make it bigger, especially if I want it to go all the way through. So I'm making it smaller, and then it's going to be taller than my original cube. Okay, to get rid of the work plane, you click on work plane again, and you just click someplace out in space. All right, now I want to center my hole on my cube. So I'm going to go to align, and this centers it. So this one here will center it right to left, and this one here will center it front to back. So now I know that my hole is right in the middle of the shape. All right, now to lower my hole, I grab this black arrow that's right here, and I start pushing down, and it's showing me here on the right what my measurements are, right? So I know I made my original cube is 35 millimeters. So let's say I want to leave a little bit of a bottom on. I can push it down, or I can type the number in, either way. So I'm going to go down so that my hole is 32 millimeters. Oh wait, I want 1 millimeter to stay. I must have made my original cube 25. All right, so then I let go. So now you can see that it's inside of there, okay? So we've got a hole inside of a solid. Now I want to join them together so they become one piece. So I'm going to go right here to join. That's going to put a hole in the middle. So that piece that was a hole before is now gone, right? And it made a hole in the center of my shape. So that's the way that you can do if you want a cup or something, or if you push it all the way through, then it would be an opening all the way to the bottom. All right, so those are the basic things that I wanted to show you guys. If you have any questions, let me know. And we can talk about things if you need more help. So this should get you started, though.